Carol,
Good afternoon, ma'am.
how are you?
Okay,
Good, ma'am.
so we can we start, ma'am?
Yeah,
Yeah,
start.
go ahead.
Sir is
Go ahead.
also there.
Okay. So first of all, very good afternoon to all of you. I, Dr. Anil Kumar, on the behalf of ARSG College and organizing team, a warm welcome to our principal, sir, Dr. Gyantosh Kumar Jha, our invited speaker, Dr. Parul Kumar, and our participant for the third session in fourth day National Online Faculty Development Program on Research Methodology, Tools and Techniques. So first, I would like to invite our principal, sir, Dr. Gyantosh Kumar Jha, to say a few words. Sir, hello. Uh, सर आपकी आवाज हेलो
Sorry.
यस हाँ
Sorry.
ओके
I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
I'm audible. Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Anil. Good afternoon to all. On behalf of ARSD College, I welcome Dr. Parul Kumar in this session of Faculty Development Program. This is fourth day of our Faculty Development Program, and I hope that everyone is enjoying all the sessions with the resource person. And I have heard earlier also Dr. Parul Kumar, and her session was very interesting and very insightful and informative. So I hope that everyone will enjoy. Welcome all the participants, and I am grateful to Dr. Parul that he has given her valuable time for this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सो मच सर तो
Anil.
next for the brief introduction of Dr. Parul Kumar. She is a keen researcher, trainer, and educator, having an experience more than 10 years. She holds a PhD in finance from IGNOU and has been working as assistant professor in Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Study, affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University. She has conducted corporate training session on advanced Excel, SPSS, MOs, and eViews. She has also taken session on regression analysis, research methodology, and data analysis at various institutes. She holds certification in data analysis, predictive modeling, financial modeling, the regression analysis. She has awarded Best Business Academic of the Year by All Indian Commerce Association in 2017. She has authored and co-authored 23 research papers published in national and international journal, conference and books. Her research, including financial market, foreign portfolio, investors, seasonality, corporate governance, and social science. So I am inviting Dr. Parul Kumar to deliver a lecture based on journal selection and promotion of research.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
A very good afternoon to everyone. And thank you to the whole FDP team of the ARSD. I'm really delighted to be the part of the FDP again and to deliver the knowledge. And hopefully it will be of great use to all of you. Let's start with the presentation. Let me share the screen with you. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
PPT is visible.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So I hope all of you are doing great at your homes. This session would definitely talk about these two things. I will not waste time on any other thing. So let's focus on that. So my essence of my session is starting with how to choose the right journal, how to find it, what are the criterias, and once we selected the right journal, we got our paper published, then how to promote it. What is the best thing? What are the avenues where we can promote it? And how to monitor it? See, promotion is one thing, you promote it, but please do not stop there. You have to monitor your statistics also, that how your promotion is going on. So that is very much important. So you should keep a track that what is the reach of your article. First, let's start with the right journal. Publication in peer-reviewed journals is of great importance these days, and it is obviously the most important goal for all the research projects. Although peer review can be a lengthy and often exhausting process, but once your manuscript is completed, it is done. So it validates your work and can help you advance your career. One of the most important and possibly the least well understood aspect of the publication process is the choice of the suitable journal that is likely to accept your work. Please remember, even the rigorous, high impactful work can be rejected when the topic of the research does not align with the scope of the journal. And thus, making these mistakes only wastes us time and the motivation. So let's begin this story. So hence, while selecting a journal, you should ask few questions. 3 specific questions. First being with this little guy who doesn't know where to publish the journal, where to publish the paper. Why? It is such a difficult task. There is a long list, which we keep on staring like this, which to choose, how to choose, because there are many options, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which journal to choose and how to choose? What is the specific criteria? These 3 are the basic questions which every researcher has to answer. There are other questions also, and that implies the main importance of the journal selection. That why it is very much important to select the appropriate journal. Why it is important. There are a few considerations why it is important. First, it is essential that we choose the research journal before drafting the research paper. Very much important. Before. Please remember, before. It should not be like that. First, you have written the paper and then you are trying to finalize the journal. No. Most of us do this way only. Then, if you will decide it earlier, then it will help you in saving the time. How it will save time? You already know beforehand what are the drafting methodologies as per the journal. What are the various things we have to consider for the journals to take your paper, the formatting guidelines, the page numbers, the page number, word count is required. All these things are mentioned beforehand. This is very much important. The selection of the journal influences the design of the manuscript. Obviously, some journals, I give you one basic thing. Some journals have the option like your paper should not exceed 10 pages. In your paper, results and discussions should be written together. Some say results should be a separate section and discussion should be a separate section. So when you finalized your paper and then you start looking for your prospective journal, it will be a whole tedious task. Maybe you have to rework your research on the basis of the guidelines of the journal. That's why it is important to select the journal prior to writing your research paper. This will also help you tailor the manuscript as per the scope of the journal. Audience. Every journal has different types of audience. Some are directed towards the academicians, researchers, students. Some are specifically targeted towards the government, the policy makers, the stakeholders. So you have to align your paper as per their needs, that what they will require in the future. To make this, there are many options, many publishers, many houses there which publish the paper. Few reputed ones I have mentioned above, Science, Scopus. We will be discussing few of them in the coming slides. Now, once we understand the importance of the journal selection, then comes the point how to choose the best journal. So I categorized it in 3 ways. At which 3 ways it's possible to choose your right journal. First, your guide chooses it for you. It is great, it's awesome. Fine. Second, your senior recommends, or from a learned peer, you comes to know that this journal is good. This is as per your paper. Good, problem solved. You don't have to worry anything. But I would recommend go for the third option. Why the third option? Because you only knew what is the literature available in your respective area in which you have written your manuscript. So you should follow those papers where they have been published and then look for that what is the scope of that specific journal and how your research or manuscript can be aligned to it. I guess this is the best practice. And this will give you more options and a greater chance of the acceptance. Moving further, what is the checklist for the journal selection? I understood the importance of journal selection. I understood that I have 3 options and I should go for the last one, that I should look for the papers which are there in my specific area. Now, what is the checklist? On which basis should I look for the journals? So there is a checklist. You should look for the scope, indexing, where ranking. What is the ranking of that specific journal in that specific category? How many number of issues it published in a year? Some published quarterly, some published biannually, some published monthly. So you have to look for that issues also. It makes it, it even tells you that if you want to go for a person who is publishing or a publisher who is publishing monthly journals, fine. Then there is a greater chance you will get a early review decisions, whether it's acceptance or a rejection, because it's an ongoing process. The journals which are published biannually or only yearly, 1 issue a year, then they take a lot of time in processing your articles, fine. They will be rigorous ones. So it is very much important for that. Then comes whether the journal has a special issue or not. Is there a special issue? Sometimes it is quite advisable to go for the special issues because they have the early review process. Their review process, they'll reply you fast. They follow the same review process of the journal, but yet the response time is much less as compared to the regular issue. Then comes the OA and or SB. This is the important thing, which is open access journal or subscription based journal. I'll explain you about these journals in detail later on. How much is the review time? What is the acceptance rate? These are the key things. Now you understand, in order to see all these things, you have to go journal to journal to note down the points. What is the acceptance rate? You know, what is the time? Or what is the review time? Is it open access? What is the ranking? It will take hell lot of time. Then what is the use of this FDP? If you are going to do this thing only, you are doing this. Then what is the use? See, I'll tell you the use. I will be explaining you these 3 things. These 3 things are the journal finder tools and the database, which will help you understand and decide how you will be able to select the appropriate journal. And the best thing about this is, hold this checklist. You will be able to mark and write all these things together at once without going to the journal website. And you heard it right, you will get each and everything at a single place. After which you will feel like this sweet, cute little boy who is too explained to see how I am getting all the things at one place. Let me show you an example of this. I'll show you 2 tools. One is the Springer and the other one is of the Elsewhere. And the Scopus, I'll explain you about the Scopus as well. So let's start with the Elsewhere. Elsewhere is a publisher which houses many articles from different areas, be it sciences, be it humanities. There are many areas which it covers. See, it is journalfinder.elsewhere.com. This is the web link where you have to go, journalfinder.elsewhere.com. This page will open up. It will ask you to put your paper title, to put your paper abstract, the keywords, field of the research, in which area. There are other fields also which you want to use. Let's start putting. I'll put one title here and see what are the options it is giving me. Let's use this one. So this is the paper title. Let me paste the extract. It will not let you find the journal till the time you have not pasted the abstract. So abstract is pasted, keywords. What are the possible keywords? So let me put the keywords. It will show you the possible options available. See, depression, anxiety, stress scale, it is coming. In this paper, this has been used. It is not finding this. Okay, no problem. The study is for the Asia Pacific region. Uses, let's suppose, PLSM. Fine. If you want to define the field of research, you can define that. You can do it even without this. Let's click on Find Journals. It will buffer up the list. So approximately 50 journals are matching my criteria. This is the list. This test match score will tell you that how much your abstract matches with the scope or the prospective journal. So this is the test map score. It scores on the 5 ratings. It has 3 boxes with it. This is the site score, impact factor. 21% is the acceptance rate of this journal. Time to the first decision is 48 weeks. It will take 48 weeks to reply. Then after the confirmation, it will give you the 9 weeks. So there are the list. This is the list. See, all the details is available here. We do not have to visit the journal website. If we have to visit the journal website, then we can simply click here. The details will open. See, the subject area is social psychology. It will give you the recent articles published. Journal scope is mentioned here. Now, if you want to read more about this journal, you can simply go on to this journal website, or you can directly go to submit the paper on the specific link. So if you click on journal website, it will take you to the website of the specific journal. So in this way, your task becomes very much easy. See, the journal website is right here. It is giving you the journal matrix. You have all the details, most downloadable, site score is there, special issues, is there any special issue coming up the specific journal? All the details are mentioned on this journal homepage. So you simply have to put your title and the abstract and you will get the list. How you can modify the list? It is very simple to modify. You can use more filters from here. These are the filters. You can reduce the site score if you want to. Simply drag. Time for first decision, you want the journal should reply you early. So let's keep it up to 18 weeks. Time to publication if you want to change. Impact factor, you want to see a journal with less impact factor. See, from 50 journals, now it is showing 40 journals. So this is how this Elsevier Journal Finder tool will make your task very easy to find the journal of your choice on the basis of your abstract and the title. That is why these journals and high reputed journals focus on your title and the abstract, because they are the face of your article. So your face of your article should be very attractive, very good, so that they will be able to gather much attention. You can choose any of the journal from here. Now, what is the meaning of the site score and the impact factor? These two things, many of our researchers are not able to differentiate. So let's discuss about these two things. And then afterwards, we move forward to the other tool. So what is exactly the impact factor? It is based on the Web of Science and adopts the 2-year window. It adopts the 2-year window. It tells you how many times the paper in one journal are cited on an average. I'll explain you again. In how many times the paper in one journal are cited on an average. And it is on the 2-year statistics. Please remember, because once I tell you about the site score, you will be able to understand the difference. It does not give an impact factor, does not give an indication about a single paper. Please remember, about a single paper, it never gives an indication. It gives the overall of the journal. Some papers are heavily cited, others are never cited in that specific journal. It is quite a possibility. Fine. Even this happens in the journals which have high impact factor. Now, what is the site score? Site score is based on the Scopus data. Please remember, impact factor is based on the Web of Science data. Site score is based on the Scopus data. And site score takes 3-year window. Impact factor takes 2-year window. Site score calculates the average number of citations received in a calendar year by all the items published in that specific journal. Again, it calculates the average number of citations received in a calendar year by all the items in that journal in the preceding 3 years. So that is the major difference between the site score and the impact factor. And there are other criteria also, which is mentioned on the journal website. See, if you hover over here, it will tell you the exact meaning. The site score measures the average citations received per document published in that title. Title means in that journal. And this is tell you how it is calculated. Now there are two more things also, which is SNIP and SCI journal rank. Now what are these? SNIP is source normalized impact per paper. It is the ratio between the raw impact per paper actually received by the journal compared to the citation potential of that journal. It is the raw impact of specific paper as compared to the usual citations which this journal receives. Fine. Then comes SCI Margo journal rank. It is a prestige matrix. Now, what do you mean by prestige matrix? See, Google rate various sites on the basis of this prestige matrix only. What it says, the times it is being visited, the Google says it is the most visited website. So same is for the SJR rank. It weighs the value of the citation. It has the weighted one. Only SJR uses the weighted index. Neither site score, neither impact factor, neither SNIP go for the weighted one. So how SJR rank takes the weighted score? It takes the weighted citations on the basis of the field, quality, reputation of that journal and count the citations so that all the citations are not considered equal. All the citations are not considered equal. Some citations come from the reputation of the journal. Some citations come from the quality of the journal. Some comes from the specific paper or the field in which the journal has been registered. So it gives specific weights to these criteria and then finalize what is the SJR rank. See, one thing is very much important. When you are looking for selecting a journal, you should not focus on a single matrix. You should look for the multiple matrices, site score, impact factor, SNIP, and you should compare it over the years. Is it been increasing or it has been on the decreasing trajectory? You will be able to see the earlier site score also. I'll explain you how you will be able to see. So again, explaining the difference between the site score and impact factor again. Site score is the journal impact based on the Scopus 1. It includes all the documents. Impact factor is based on the Web of Science data and includes only the citable documents, articles, and the reviews. Please remember, site score considers everything, even the books also. But impact factor considers the citable documents, majorly the articles and the reviews. Now next comes is Springer Journal Finder. Springer Journal Finder is journal suggester.springer.com. Elsevier has Journal Finder. Springer has Journal Suggester. Now see, same things are being asked. Manuscript text, the subject area, and you can refine your recommendations also. So let's again paste the details and see what are the options. One thing I forgot to tell you is that Elsevier and Springer will give you the list of the titles which they publish. Only Elsevier publications, only Springer publications. Please remember. So let's search, suggest the journals. See, it is giving me the list. It is telling me this is the impact factor. First decision takes 60 days. This is the acceptance rate, 36%, 48%, 75 days the decision takes. It's your wish. Choose any of them. You can simply click here on the journal link. It will explain you more details about the journal, and if you want to submit your paper, you can simply click here and submit. It is also telling you where this journal has been indexed in. It is in Scopus, where it is there. All the options, all the things are given. Is it a SCI journal or which journal? So all the things are mentioned here only. Fine. Any problem till now? If there is any issue, I hope it is clear till end. So this is the two journal suggesters. Can you give me this is the two journal suggesters here. Find the Elsewhere and the Springer journal suggester. Now next thing comes is Scopus. Now what exactly the Scopus all about? See, Scopus is all about the database. It is the largest database of the abstracts. It takes into consideration the abstracts of the journals. Fine. It doesn't include the full papers, only the abstract listing is here. So this is, if I click on, this is the basic home page, which comes when you go to scopus.com. Here you have few options. You can go for the author search. You can go for the sources. So let's first do the source. See, Scopus is an indexing database. It is the world's largest indexing database. It is not a publisher. Please remember, it is not a publisher. Fine. It indexed the content from approximately 5,000 publishers. So it may be, it includes Elsevier, Springer, Wiley, Taylor Francis, InDesign. Many of the publishers have been included in this. The earlier two which we discussed, Springer and Elsevier, journal finders and journal suggesters, they were the tools to help you shortlist the journals for your publication, and they are the publishing houses. Scopus is a database. Now, how to search an article in the Scopus? Let's write any journal name. Let's see, international. So it will give you the possible options. International Journal of Business, let's suppose. So it is giving me this. So let's click on this and let's see what statistics come. It is telling me there is one journal. It is giving me NaNA. That means it's a new journal. So let's look for some older journals. Or there is a list also. You can choose any of the journal which you want. So let's click on one journal and see what is the journal matrix Scopus is telling us. This is the journal Energy and Environmental Science. It has a Scopus coverage from 2008 to till present. That means it is in the Scopus since 2008. The publisher is this. ISSN, EISSN is this. Subject area is mentioned very clearly here. On the right side is the site score of 2018, SJR rank, SNIP. These are given to you. Now, if you come downwards, it will explain you these calculations. See, it is, if you see the calculation of the 2018 site score, it says citation count of 2018. This is the total citations in a year. Documents, again, I told you the last years. This is the last years. This is document 2015 to 17. The last years, that is the impact factor, and the site score difference is that site score takes last 3 years, impact factor take 2 years. So last 2 year documents were this. If you click on this, it will take you to the another page which will tell you this is the list of the citations, on which paper the citations have been received, year of publication, the author, the details of the source. So you can easily look who all are the people who are citing the documents of this specific journal. So this is how the site score. If you want to compare, you can simply click on this drop down arrow, go for the earlier years. You will see the site score of the earlier years. This is a very useful tool. Scopus will really help you in this. Now comes to the right side. This is the ranking part of the journal. Now, what do you mean by the rank? Rank is about the in which area this journal has been added. So this is the area: environmental science category, energy category. In this, the rank of this journal is out of 94, it has the first rank. In this specific area, it is 128 journals total registered, and this journal holds a first rank. So in this way, you can see the ranking of the specific journal. If you want to go more deeper, that what are the other journals in this specific category? See, these are the sorry, these are the journals. These are the rankings of the other journals. The site score is mentioned since I have selected 2016. It is telling me the then site score. Now it is updated to 2018. So this is the site score. See these specific journals. This journal has 17th rank. This is 18th rank. So in this way, you will get more detailed metrics about your journal. One thing you should remember, whenever a journal website claims it is in the Scopus, please do visit scopus.com and please do check whether the journal has been indexed there or not. Because many sites falsely claim that the journal has been indexed. So please do visit scopus.com and see this. So this is all about the journal selection, the Elsevier, the Springer, and the Scopus database. The first leg of the session. Now coming back to the presentation, you should go for selection of the journals on the basis of this checklist. Mark the journals on these criteria, that what is the scope, indexing, ranking, and then rank it on your criteria. But please remember, do not make a selection of more than 3 journals, because otherwise if you will end up selecting more than 3 journals, then there is no purpose of this journal selection. It will be of no use at all, because you will end up having as many options as you have earlier. So why you are using a journal selector tool? So please shortlist the most appropriate 3 journals and then only work upon them. Now one thing which is open access and the subscription based. What is the meaning of these two? In other webinars, I usually got this answer, so I decided to explain you. See, open access or OA means freely available to anyone. Anyone can download this content. It is freely available, but yes, it has a Creative Commons license attached. Creative Commons license attached to the specific publication. Now, what is SB? SB is the subscription based. People has to either subscribe the journal or the people has to pay the specific article fees to get this specific paper downloaded. Fine. So this is the basic 2 difference. Now the important thing is many journals ask fees for getting your paper in the open access. Getting your paper in the open access. So whether you should go for that or not, because many of us are like, let's pay the fees and get the paper published. No, please understand the basic difference. It is that when you should pay and when you should not pay. I'll try to explain this thing by way of the indicators of the questionable journals. These are some specific indicators which I'm going to discuss, because open access journals are created for the benefit of the authors and the readers. But it has now for many become like a business. There are many open access journals that operate for the right reasons, but there are few that are simply trying to make the money without any scholarship involved and misusing the author's work. And many of us fall for that trap. How to spot this? There are few warning signs, or I could say there are only few potential indicators which you should look for. First, submission fee versus the publication fee. Many of you think it is same. What is the difference? I'll tell you the difference. See, author pay the fees to make their article freely available in case of the open access. Now, this cost should come in the form of the publication fee. Fine, not the submission. Submission is when you are submitting something, you are paying. Publication is when your article is accepted, then the journal is asking you, please pay this much amount to make your paper open access. Fine. The important thing, please remember this thing. This fees should be mentioned clearly on the website. If it is not clearly mentioned and communicated to you via email or via message or any other medium, that means something is fishy. Fine. Some predatory journals require the submission fee or handling fees payable whether or not your paper is accepted or not. They say you pay the submission fee, then only your paper will be processed. There are few journals which go for this criteria, and then even if your paper is published or not published, the submission fee or handling fees is gone forever. So please do not fall for that trap. Then comes the copyright, which many of our researchers do not take it very seriously. But please, it's my request, personal request, do take these things very seriously. Understand this. Open access journals should let authors maintain the copyright with the work ultimately released under a Creative Commons license. It is your work, so copyright should be with you. It should not be given to anyone. Fine, please remember this thing. And the journals, if they are publishing it with the open access, then there is one common creative license which is attached to it. Fine. So they should put that so that anybody who is downloading your paper can see that common creative common licenses, which can be like this article cannot be reproduced. You have to give the credit to the author. It cannot be used for the commercial purposes. Creative licenses are like that. Next things comes is, okay, one more thing I forgot to tell you in the copyright is journals that demand to keep the copyright while claiming to be open access should be treated with extreme cautions. The journal is saying, I'll make your article open access, but the copyright will stay with the journal. Please cross-check it, verify it, get a more detailed analysis of the journal, that whether it is actually the good journal or not. Then comes the editorial board. Many journals have very small editorial board. That is the strength. It is reflected by the editorial board section. When good researchers are involved in running a journal, the peer review process would be strong and thorough. You should search for few of the publications of those specific editorial board members and see where those members are actually publishing. Fine. If they are publishing in the good journal, that means this journal has some quantitative value because good researchers are associated with them. Never rely on those journals that has no editorial board, no editor-in-chief. Sometimes it is written editorial board coming soon. Please do that. There is something fishy in that. Next, single publisher with multiple journals at the same time. Many a times we get the mails like so-and-so journals are coming, new journal of marketing, new journal of management. One publisher is announcing 10 number of journals at the same time. See how it is possible for a person to handle all the 10 journals. The main trick which publishers do is they try to capture the market in different areas. So any possibility of the author, they want to catch that. So if a publisher you are considering is offering a large suite of new journals, remember new journals, not the established journals I'm talking, new journals, then it is unlikely that the publisher can actually find good reviewers, good editors to support all the journal requirements. So please refrain from those things. Then comes not a professional website in terms of the quality. See, many websites we visit, they are very made not in a professional manner. They look too colorful. No professional things are used. Even the sign things or some typos are there. This is another thing we should be beware of. And another important thing is sometimes the websites have ads. You have seen many journal websites have ads. They take ads. If it's a good journal, they take ads from scholarly societies. If it's a medicine journal, maybe an ad of some scholarly other publication, or it includes some PubMed advertisements, or some coming peer-reviewed journal or peer-reviewed, I would say, special issue of the specific journal. So that says association with the society, scholarly society, commerce association, econometrics association. But there are few journals which will give you the ads like you say florist, housing development, cars. That means this is a sign that journal is not connected scholarly. It doesn't have a scholarly content. So sometimes, and also there is sometimes contact information of the journals is not mentioned. So when there is no contact information, what will you do? When you submit your paper to that specific journal, whom do you contact? So please do not fall for that. International or national affiliation. Now understand this important thing. You have seen many journals start with the name or uses the name Canadian, American, British Journal, Association Academy, Management Academy. See, these are reputed societies established in various countries, fine, across the globe. So if the journal is using this and it is actually situated in some other area, and editorial board does not comprise of that global exposure, then how come the word international is attached? Claiming international status in the title without the appropriate distribution of the editorial function across the globe may denote a false claim. Because if it's an international, the editorial board has to be international. It has to have international members. Thus, inclusion of these words is not a problem, but please investigate further so that you can have a detailed view of the journal credibility. Content. How many journals you have find the title says something and the paper accepted in that journal is of totally different area. Let's say journal is of civil engineering, fine, and it is publishing the article of pediatric care. How come? If a journal is of civil engineering, what does the pediatric care would be related to it? That means there are the chances that there is no editorial or a little editorial board, which is not giving much needed attention to the publications which are going to publish in the journal. Another example can be HR specialized journal is publishing financial market seasonality paper. How come it is related? See, interdisciplinary articles are published, but they should at least have some relevance to the status focus of the journal. It is very much important that what is the scope of the journal, that interdisciplinary article should be related to that. Thus, taken together, these diverse indicators should make it easier for both the authors and the readers to identify the creditable online open access journals and and to select the appropriate journal for your publication. Moving further, once the paper is published, your sole goal now should be how to promote it, because a small effort from your side can actually make a big difference for your research. For your research, it makes a very good difference. So you should get involved. You should get noticed. There are many options in which you can get noticed or you can make your research noticeable. Let's discuss few of them. You can tweet about it with the relevant hashtags. You can follow the handles, various handles, tweet, retweet, fine. LinkedIn, you can use the LinkedIn. It's a professional network. You can join the relevant groups, go for professional networking, showcase your publications. You can even add the links also in all these things. You can grow up your network with the LinkedIn, so your reach of the paper increases. This will even help you in increasing the possibilities of the collaboration. Facebook. How Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn are different. See, all three have different purpose. Twitter will require you a smaller post because it's a tweet. Nobody is going to read the bigger one. So go for the smaller one, precise one, the key things of your journal, which will attract. LinkedIn, a professional network. You can give the detailed, you can have a proper link. And once you add a link in the LinkedIn, it automatically creates a picture. For the view of the audience. Facebook, it is more of the social network on the lighter note. So you should not go for technical jargons. You should put a simple, tagline on this or a catchy one so that your Facebook friends would be able to see it and share it. Then comes the conferences. Another good thing. You can present your work in the conferences, poster presentations. It will help you in collaborating. It will even give you the chance to get the reviews on your article. Fine, you can get critical reviews, critical suggestions for your articles once you present your paper in the conferences. You get to meet like-minded people. Online posters, you can make the online posters and share it with the people who are coming in the conferences for the pre-conference discussion also. Online CV, this is nowadays becoming a very nice tool to promote even your skills, your research, your overall exposure, experience. You can customize the link in it. Anybody can click on the link in your online CV and directly go to the paper where it has been published. Then comes YouTube. YouTube again is a good tool. You can make short videos, maybe 5 minute, 10 minutes video explaining the key findings of your research or how your research is benefited for the policymakers, for the society. You can discuss the outcomes. If you have designed or developed any model, maybe it's scientific or empirical, which is new to the existing body, you can explain that model by way of the YouTube videos. And then again, these YouTube videos can be shared on your YouTube page, on the LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook. So you can share it anywhere. So it will also give you an edge. These are more of the social parts which we can look for. There are 3 more things which I say the key tools and which every author should do it. First is the author profile. Author profile, why author profile is important? Because it lets you connect and share your work, detailed work, free of cost with anyone. It networks with the scholars, like-minded people, academic community. It helps you increasing the citation also. Fine. You can even check the author matrix. Right now, earlier slides, I have shown you journal matrix. Now with the author profile, which I'm going to show you in the next slide, you would be able to see your own research matrix, that how your research is performing as compared to the other researchers. So it gives visibility to your research. Then comes Google site, which is the next thing we are going to do. Google site it's a free site. You can showcase your work. You will have your own site, which Google will help you build it. So you can publish it on the internet. You can add it to your LinkedIn profiles. You can add it to your CVs. It can be added anywhere. It's a very nice tool. And the last is the others, which I say you can show your research on the university websites, institute websites. They have the section of faculty profile. So you link your papers, publication details on that website. So if the people who are visiting your institute website will have a look at the faculty profile and they will simply click. See, even a click to your specific paper makes a big deal because it increases the number of reads on your paper, that how many people are reading that paper actually. Fine. And sometimes that reading converts to the citation. So you have to generate that zeal. Fine. So next slide, we will be talking about the author profile and how to create an author profile for yourself, how it is beneficial. There are various multiple sites available for creating the author's profile. We have Google Scholars, ORCID is there, Academia, Scopus is there, ResearchGate. Many are there. These are few of them mentioned here. There are many which will help you build your network. How these are helpful? Self-promotion at no cost, networking, more visibility. You can track the citation matrix, your citation matrix, H-index, I-10 index. I'll explain you what is H-index and I-10 index. Fine. You've become the verifiable author or the reviewer. You can see how many times your paper has been downloaded. So let's start with building one. Let's first go for the Google Scholar profile. It is scholar.google.co.in. This is the front page which comes up, scholar.google.in. If you have a Google Gmail ID, it simply says here you are logged in. Or if you do not have a Google ID, please create one to access this. If I show you scholar.google.in, here it is coming, sign in. So you click here, sign in. With your account, you will be able to log in. Now, if you want to create your profile, go on my profile. It will ask you the login. You have to do the login. So create a login or use your Gmail ID. It will take you to the profile. Now, how the profile look? So let me see the profile of one of my known. Just give me a second, please. No, it is not taking like that. So I have, let me search another one. So this is one person's profile. See, it is the Prasoon Gupta profile. Verified email ID is there. His area of interest are mentioned. These are the titles of the paper. Google Scholar, once your email is with the Google Scholar, it will automatically start picking from the Google searches your articles and it automatically adds here. Also, there is an option that you can add on your own. It's also a possibility you can add on your own. Fine. It will tell you the matrix, that total number of citations. Since 2015, there's many citations. This is the H index. This is the ITIL index of Prasoon Gupta. Now, this statistics is all about the researcher, not any journal. So, these are the papers. This is the how many times this paper has been cited. So, if you click on that times, it will take you the papers who have cited that paper. Fine. So, if you click on this link, it will take you the details of the paper. Publication date is this, journal is this, volume is this, issue number, description is as mentioned. This is the total citations of that paper till now when it has been published there. So this is the total of citation. This is the citation which you can include in your research papers. So this is how a Google profile looks. If I show you another Google profile, so let me show you that also. See, Google profile is very easy to make. You simply log in. It simply asks you, please select your paper. So you add the papers, your papers get added. So there is no problem at all. So let's try. See, this is how the page comes. It is asking you what is the name, what is your affiliation, email for the verification. You should always mention your official email ID. It is very much important. What are your area of interest? Any home page. See, this is the home page. You can put the home page as your Google site also, which is the next thing which you are going to do. Or you can put your college link here, your institute where you are working. The second comes is articles. Once you save this, then it will take you to the second one. See, this is the articles. By default, Google is trying to search, am I the same Parul Kumar? So whatever options the Google is getting, Google is giving me this. So if you think you are the same Parul Kumar, you can simply tick here and go to arrow. It will add it to your profile. Fine. First, it will be like this. Now, if you add more articles, see, it says automatically update. If you say click done, this is the profile which Google has created. See, this is the profile Google has created. Now here is the option of plus sign. You simply click here. See, add article groups, add articles manually. So sometimes Google is not able to pick your article. Click on add article manually. See, it is letting you the option to add the conference, chapter, book, thesis, patent, court case, or other things. So you simply click type the journal, you write the name of the journal, let's say International Journal of Business, who has written it, let's suppose so and so person has written it, put a semicolon so that it differentiate between different authors. What is the publication date? So let's suppose it is 2008. Oops, sorry, title is, I wrote it wrongly. This is the journal. Let's say title is this. In which volume? It is 12. Let's say 2 pages, 5 to 20. Publisher, let's say it is YLA. Once you are done, simply click tick. Your specific paper would get added. See, here it is. It is coming. It is published here. Fine. So this is how you can create your Google Scholar profile. You can track. This is the way to monitor that how your papers have been performing. Now understanding the meaning of H index and I10 index. Fine. So why H index and I10 index is important? Because these are your metrics, that is why they are important. Now understand the difference between them. H index is for the productivity and the impact of the individual author. It is a largest number so that at least H articles in that publication were cited at least H times each. In a simple way, if the H index of 9 is there, then it means among all the publications of one author, 9 of his publications have at least 10 citations each. Let me put it another way. This is one Pankaj Kumar Gupta profile is there. His H index since 2015 is 7. So it says that among all the publications of this author, 7 of his publications have received at least 10 citations. They can be more than that, but at least 7 of his paper have at least 10 citations. So that is H index. Next comes is I10 index. I10 is the newest in the line. It has been introduced in 2011. It tells the total number of published papers with at least 10 citations. So if your article has been referred by more than 10 authors and citations in their research article, means that your article is having a separate core value as far as the quality of the article matrix is concerned. Quality of the article matrix has concerned. So it has, if it is 10, minimum 10 is there, then the I10 index comes to this. So this author has at least 6 papers who have been cited 10 times. Fine. This is all about the author profile on one Google Scholar. Now coming to the last leg of my session, which is about the Google site. Why the Google site is important? What are the benefits? It is your own free site. There is no requirement to learn any coding to make your website. You can directly link your publication. Fine. You can promote your research. It is easily shareable to the public at large. Multiple pages can be added. You can even add the video, photos, presentations, everything can be embedded. It gets saved on the Google Scholar platform, or Google server, and it has 100 MB free storage space. Let me first show you a few examples of the Google site. These are few samples of the people who have created their Google sites, and then I'll show you how you can create one for yourself. So these are the 3 profiles of the professors. These 3 are different profiles. Let me first open all the 3, and then I'll show you the difference. See, so these are the 3 profiles. One is this profile. See, it is showing sites.google.com and the person name. Fine, Mr. Barbie. Then comes Another way, this is the another profile, Mr. Rajat. See, a different perspective again. Let's go for the next profile. Dr. Tarun. So see, 3 profiles are created in 3 different ways. There are n number of ways. If you see first Rajat profile, this is the placeholder. You can click on these links and it will take you to the detailed explanation of these links. So this person has explained each and everything about his career, research funding which is received, any student achievement under his guidance, what all teaching he has done. These are the courses he has taught. Fine. So any tutorials, talks, everything is mentioned. So everything at one place. So it is like your talking CV and a detailed one. There is no page limit. You can add n number of data, n number of pages. If we go for the next one, see here, a photograph is also there, link, email ID, a brief profile. There's a home page. This is a home page of the landing page. This is the detailed profile. This is the experience. These are the publications of this professor. He has added the links. See, the links have been hyperlinked here. So you simply click on this and you directly go to his paper, published in so and so journal, presented so beautifully. The research areas, teachings, student feedback. See how beautifully he has mentioned the student feedback which he has received over this period and 30 courses. So you can change as per your requirement. So this is the benefit of the Google sites, that you can create your own magnificent profile and impress anyone. Landing page again. See, now the placeholder comes on the top. The other 2 sites had the placeholder on the left. Now it is on the top. Research. These are the details of his research, working papers, publications. He even has put the logos of the journals, the front pages of the journals, which gives another edge. A short abstract is there. Even he has mentioned where his paper has been covered. It has been covered by various websites, or in the Mint is there. Teaching, you can even add, like he has added, these are the slides of his specific courses which he has taught. So he has embedded those slides here. See, I have clicked on one of the slides and I'm able to view these slides prepared by him. So easily accessible. This is the power of Google site. Now how you can make one for you, let's start building it. So let's go for sites.google.com. Again, you require a Gmail ID. See, one is the blank site. You can create a blank site, or you can choose from the templates. There are predefined templates. There are easily customized templates. You can click on any template and customize as per your requirement. So I'm taking a simple one. Let's take a portfolio, because I'm creating an e-portfolio for all of you. So let's start building one e-portfolio. See, these can be edited as per your requirement. This is a predefined thing coming up. Let's change it. Let's modify it. It is written. Let's put our name here. Fine. I don't want all this. So let me remove this. If you want to change the image, you can easily change it. Simply click it. It will ask you, you can insert a link, you can crop this image, you can delete, or there are other options. You can replace the image. You can select any image, you can upload it. It is asking you where your image is there. So you can put it from your desktop if there is any image. I don't guess there is an image. Fine. Or you can select the image from the web itself, the inbuilt option. So you simply write, let's suppose, research. Also URL, it's asking me, let's go for the Google image research. Let me write research. Let's see what images are coming. Many images. Let's pick one image and click on insert. See, the image is added. You can customize it, size it as per your requirement. This is done. Now, there are many placeholders coming. You can give, I'm an assistant professor. Fine. You can write, I'm a trainer. Anything. Now let's modify these things. I don't want all these things. So let me remove this full placeholder and let me add and customize as per my requirement. Okay, I need an email ID to let people know and contact me. So this is the email ID placeholder. Now comes the next thing. Just a minute. Why the survey is coming? Okay. This is the home. This is the about. I don't want about page. I don't want it. So can I remove it? Yes. You go to the pages here. You go to the pages here. You see home page is there, about page is there. You simply click here and you simply click delete. It is deleted. I don't even want the project page. I deleted. So this is my home page. See, whenever there is a single page, the placeholder bar gets removed. Now let's suppose I want to add a new page. So I'm adding a new page and I'm writing publications. Done. See, a publication is coming. I want to add another page. Let it be experience. Done. Now let's add a theme to this page. These are these themes. You can click any of the theme which you want. And since there is nothing, so let's put some content here. These are the few layouts if you want to put pictures, images. So let me put it like this. This is publications page. Sorry, this is an experience page. So I say experience. I can put again any image here. Same process, select an image or upload it from your drive if you have any image there, or you can simply click and search on the Google. It's all inbuilt. Click on any picture and insert it. It will get inserted. Fine. Let me add the content to this. I want some collapsible text. So it says current experience. See, it is collapsible. Then I write here Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies. Fine. Once you are done, see, it is collapsed. If you want to add another, click another, like previous experience. Let me write a simple thing here. See, so it's collapsible. When you click on this, it will show you. When you click here, it will show you. So this is the collapsible text, how you can add the collapsible text. Now let's suppose you want to add the link for your paper or any YouTube link, how to add it. So I want to add a link here. Let's choose one text box and let me add a link here. So let me add a link of one of the paper. Let's click on this link and simply copy paste it here. So this is a link I have added. I have not written anything. So when you preview it, you will be able to see, click on this link and go. There is one option of embedded. If you click on embedded and if I post same link, the URL will search for it. And then you click on insert, this link will get embedded. See, this is the link, this link get embedded. So instead of putting a simple link, you can also put a link like this, which is visible to your viewers. Again, you can resize it as per your requirement. You can resize it very easily. This is how you can inbuilt a link. Let's suppose you want to inbuilt a YouTube link. Let's try to add that also. Let's try to add that also. It's YouTube. If you click, it will ask you the link, or you can search it to find it. So let's first try with the link. So if you go for search, see it is finding, or if you do not know the link, you simply type the name, YouTube will give you the option. So this is this one. I click select. See, a link is added, you simply, then you go for the review, anybody can play it and see it. So this is how you can showcase your work. Now how to change the look and feel? I want to change this look and feel. Go to the themes, change any way you want to appear your text. You want text to appear in a different way, a different texture, a different color. Use it. See, this is all about how you want to portray all things you want to see. You can do it that way. Now the most important thing is you should name your portfolio. That is Dr. Parul Kumar. You can even collaborate with others to make changes in this Google site. So any two people, any three people can come together and make one Google site. You can simply write the names here and it will be done. Fine. Once you are completed, you can click on preview. It will show you how in real life your website will look like, your experience, different tabs. It is visible. So this is the preview of your website. Now coming back to the editable view, let's edit it again. Settings. Let's go for the settings. This is the top bar, the placeholder bar. You want it in the side, it will come in the side. You want it in the top, it will come in the top. See, it has come on the side. Once you preview, it will come on the side. Home tab, other tabs. Now it is on the side. Fine, first they were on the top. That you can change. I make it back to the top. Color, you want it transparent, you want it white, you want it black. It will come likewise. Brand images, you can even put a logo on your website. Then important thing is custom URLs. If you have the option of the custom URLs, like you have to buy the domain from GoDaddy, or there are many other portals which give you the domain. So you can make your own website name like www.parulkumar.com. So for that you have to buy the domain first. Fine. Now let's publish this website by clicking on publish. Please remember, you publish only when you are ready to publish, because once it is published, it will be available for the whole public at large. So if you click on publish, it will ask you a few things. What is the name you would like to give? Because it will come like http://sites.google.com/view, then your name. So I want to be known as this. See, it is saying that only use lowercase letters, numbers, and dashes, and nothing else. So please use that. So it is not taking underscore, it is taking a dash. So this is the name. You have to check. Maybe your name is also being taken. See, the address is taken. So you have to reframe it. It is done. So this is your site link, which is ready. You can share with anyone here who can view my site. Anyone can view your site. If you click on manage, you write the specific people. You want only few people to see your site. You can simply write their email IDs here. You can simply write your email IDs here. So those people would become the editors of your site or the published viewers, that they can view your site or they can edit also. Fine. Otherwise, if you have no such requirement, then you can simply go, anybody who has this link can view my site. And we simply click on publish. Once we click on publish, it is available on the Google. So if you do the search, it will come to the Google to view it. So this is how we make the Google website. Please, it's a request to everyone. Do make this site. You have time right now. engage your time, make it more beautiful. There are many predefined layouts also available. So use it, add as many pages as you want, tell everything about your research, your teaching, your experiences, anything. This is a free space. So you can do n number of things here. So enjoy making this Google site. It will really help you in building further your research. Fine. With this, I would like to conclude my session with a personal motivation thing, which I always say, the note to yourself. You got to do this for you. This is for you. This isn't about anybody. Live for your work. Honor your work. It is really important. And never lose your sight. Keep on monitoring it. And please do your research. And again, my favorite quote, please do not stop the hard work, because as the turtle has to move, he has to stick his neck out. So please, in order for all of you to meet the challenges, to have the better research, please move out of your shells, stop hiding in that, and please go out in the world to conquer. I thank you everyone for listening me patiently, and to the whole ARSD team for organizing such a nice workshops and giving me the opportunity to share with you the little knowledge which I have. Thank you so much. Now I'm open to the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful and informative talk based on how to select a journal and their importance.
Thank you.
So let's start from the question answer session. So first question from Ghanshyam Dawes.
Okay.
He asks, what important of page journal, ma'am?
What is the
Important of page journal.
importance of?
Yes, ma'am.
See, there is no importance as to what I say. See, many good journals, even in the SCI database, even in the Scopus Bay database, they have this, charge. They have the charge to get the paper published. You have to check whether it is actually genuine or not. I have given you the few guidelines, so please work upon that. But my personal suggestion, if you take, please do not go for the publication charges. There are enormous journals available with no publication charge as such. It is your research. Why to pay for it? You have done the hard work. Journal will increase its impact factor citation score based on your good work. So why are you paying for that? So in my suggestion, please do not go for paying. It's a request, please. And if you have to go, then please do check for what it is taking the money from you. Open access hai, nahi hai, please do check that.
Okay, ma'am. So next question from Dr. Manisha. What are the advantages of promoting our publication in social media?
Options of promoting.
Promoting our publication in
Same.
social media.
I mentioned this thing only. My 2 slides belong to this only. Use Twitter, use Facebook, use LinkedIn. There are many options. I explained you in detail. Go for that. Publish, give the screenshot of your published paper. Add the link of your published paper on the social media. Add proper relevant hashtags. Tweet it about it. These are various things I mentioned. Make a YouTube video if possible.
So, ma'am, next question from Indrajit Jha. How the ranking or impact factor are decided?
See, I have tell you, ranking depends upon the coverage of that journal in specific area. It has multiple factors. Journals have the indexing has different criteria to rank the journals. They take citation scores. They take from, how many scholarly articles have been published in a year in that journal, number of amount of citations that journal receive. On that basis, the ranking is decided by the indexing part. It is not us who decide the ranking. It is not the journal who decide the ranking. It is the index in which that journal is indexed decides the ranking.
Okay, मैम नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम सोनाली गुप्ता. बट ये मेरा भी एक क्वेश्चन है कि मैम जब हम जर्नल डिसाइड करते हैं तो उसी के हिसाब से हम पेपर लिखते हैं. बट कुछ में क्या होता है, बट वी कैन ओनली फाइंड ए राइट जर्नल ओनली व्हेन वी पुट एब्स्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ पेपर. सो हाउ बोथ कैन बी resolved?
How could can be
Resolved.
see abstract of the paper. See, what many researchers, or sometimes even we also do it like that. We write the paper and then we write the abstract. But if you talk about the actual good journals, they actually write the abstract first and the title, decide the title, and then they start working on their research. It is very much important. That is why, please, if you try to do it this way, your research automatically gets improved. So try to write the abstract first. Write abstract, a meaningful abstract, and there is one important thing. We give the keywords to the journal. Why the journal? Every journal asks for the keyword because they are the main things which will help make available your research. If you give precise and good keywords, it is quite a good possibility that in almost all the researches your paper will end up popping up. So once your paper will end up popping up, so automatically more people would be interested in looking at your paper, and your paper will get more reads and more citations. And another thing which researchers forget to do it, they give the keywords which are already mentioned in the title. Please do not give that. Title itself is a keyword. Automatically whatever is written in your title is easily searchable. So give that keyword which is not in the title, and try to add those keyword or use those keyword in the abstract also. So multiple things you can do together. So once you do it, it is very good thing that you will end up having a good journal selection.
Okay. So, ma'am, next question, Dr. Alta Naidu. How to check the paper in online plagiarism checking? Is there any link to check the plagiarism in individually?
See, there are many softwares available. Fine, PlagScan is there, but all of them are paid. If you go for the free ones, so free ones will not give you the exact possibility. They will not give you the detailed plagiarism check. Fine, because they do not have much resources to look into the each and every aspect which is available on internet. So it is preferred to go for the paid ones. So in paid ones, we have Urkund, we have Turnitin, which is the best one. So if any of your friend or the university has the Urkund or Turnitin access, then you should go for that. Look and search for the plagiarism checker in that only. Or otherwise, PlagScan is there, one plagiarism checker is there. They take the fees and let you check your paper for the plagiarism.
Okay. So, ma'am, next question from Kalpana Jutshika. What is the difference between the SEG and non-SEG journal?
Say can?
Non-SEG journal.
No, I'm not able to understand. Non means I'm non-fake or what?
SEG, S-A-G-E, SEG.
SAGE. Sage is a publication.
And what is the difference between SEG and non-SEG journal?
No, I think the question is not clear. Sage is a publisher. So what that person is asking, please write the question again.
Okay, ma'am. So next question from Anand Kumar. What is the difference between the impact factor, H factor and I-10 index?
See, impact factor is for the journal. H10 and I-10 index is for yourself. It is not for the journal. H10, I-10 index tells you what is the credibility of your research. How many citations your paper has received. Fine. How many times the people have cited your paper. So it tells you about yourself, your publications, and impact factor is about the whole journal, not a specific article.
Okay. And ma'am, next question from Dr. Anita Yadav. Can you tell us about Scopus Index Journal? Index Journal?
See, Scopus Index Journal. Scopus is an indexing database, fine, which index the journals from various publishers. I have shown you. You would go to scopus.com. You can get a list of all the journals which are already indexed in the Scopus. You can even see how a management journal, sciences journal. So you can even refine your search from there. It is an indexing database. It is not a publisher. It's an indexing database.
Okay. So, ma'am, next question from Shiny Sam. She asked, what are the benefit of publishing a paper in a special issue of a journal?
See, the benefit is that review process is fast. It is same, but it is fast. So you will get an early review, which otherwise that journal may be having, or in the regular one, may be having a longer duration to review or reply or give the first decision. So when it's a special issue, it is a time bound issue. So you end up having a early review. That is the only possibility, that early review and early publication. That is the only good thing about the special issue.
Okay. Ma'am, next question from Dr. Vivek Kumar Verma. He asks, any suggestion for researcher regarding literature review, which journal they prefer?
See, for literature review, it is altogether a different concept. A whole together a full session is required to understand how to do a good literature review. But if you want to go for the literature review, you should always focus. You should when you decided to go on a specific topic, you have decided on the basis of already existing literature. So go into that literature, find how that literature got built up. Means go backwards. Look for the earlier papers before that research, then go for forward. That after that specific research, how many papers have been published, in which journal they have been published. In that way, you will be able to gather a meaningful literature which starts from the initiation of that concept and goes till the building of that concept. And that at the end of the building, you are, which is giving a new edge to your research by adding the new content to the existing literature. You will be able to identify the gaps from that. So that is the best thing you should do. Start from basic, how it is built, and then move on how the researches have been added to the existing body of knowledge.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, apart from that, most of the questions are raising in chat box, but lack of timing, I'm not asking. So, thank you so much, ma'am. So, finally, I would like to invite one of our organizing member, Dr. Manisha, for vote of thanks to Dr. Parul Kumar. So, Manisha, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, I'm here. Thank you, Dr. Anil Kumar. Respected eminent guest, myself, Dr. Manisha, member of organizing committee, on behalf of our principal sir and organizing committee members, want to say thanks to you for presenting such a wonderful lecture on appropriate journal selection and promotion of research. You have cleared the participants' queries with lots of patience and accuracy. You discussed various options about how to choose the journal and promote the publication, making a Google Scholar profile, CV making on Google sites, and many more. This overflowed chat box here is ensuring that the audience from various streams, they have collected a lot from your lecture. We hope to see you again in the near future. Thanks for accepting our invitation to be here. Thanks to all the participants and organizing committee members. See you all tomorrow for the new session. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.